I am 28 years old. By most standards, that is young, and yet today I am in management. People ask me how I got here. They expect me to talk about grinding harder, waking up earlier, optimizing every hour. But that was never how I approach it. I did not start as a trainer, I did not start as a manager. I started as someone who cared deeply about young people finding their directions. So that care pulled me into spaces I was not qualified for. It made me stay late when nobody was watching. It kept me learning skills nobody assigned me to. Over more than 10 years across youth ministry, education, corporate trainings, digital marketing, and business management, one common thing kept growing inside me. When people know who they are, they perform at a completely different level. This is not a slogan. I've watched it happen in the real rooms with real people. Now, I have watched the opposite happen too. Talented people burning out. Some of you do experience that. Not because they lack skill, because they lack clarity about who they were and why they were doing any of it. So what got me into management at 28 years old was not a career strategy. It was a question I started asking myself years ago that most people never stop long enough to ask. Am I paying the right price for the life I actually want? Or am I paying for a life someone else designed? Here's the philosophy. The thing I've learned through the hard way. Stress and sacrifice are fixed. You do not get to negotiate them away. Every path costs you something, weekends, mental energy, relationship you keep meaning to invest in, time you cannot get back. The bills arise every month no matter what job you have, no matter what industry you are in. I spent years in roles that look impressive from the outside, good titles, respectable company, the kind of job you tell your relative about and they nod and say you made it. And from the inside, it felt empty and hollow. The stress was identical to what I carry now. The late night were the same. The sacrifice was the same. And I was building a version of myself I did not recognize. Someone else placed the order. I was just paying for it. I remember sitting in my car after a long day and realizing that I could not name one thing that day that moved me closer to the person I wanted to become. Not one thing. Every ounce of effort had gone toward maintaining a life that I never actually chose. That was the moment the question shifted me in my life. So I stopped asking how do I work less. I stopped asking how do I suffer less. And also, those are the wrong questions, right? The stress is coming either way. The sacrifice is coming either way. The right question is, this suffering buying a version of myself that I wanted to become? Your parents, our parents' dream for us to cost the same in the sleepless night as your dream does. Your boss vision costs the same in the weekend hour as your vision does. Only one of them leaves you closer to who you are becoming. Most people do not burn out from too much of work. Me and you too, right? They burn out from the wrong work. They pay the same price everyone pays, and then at the paying receipt, and realize it has somebody else's name on it. So here's what I actually did. I am not going to leave you with an idea and no way to act on it. Here's are the 3 things I actually did. No theory, just work is work, okay? I don't give you a lot of great theory. I build people from the inside out. The first thing, character first, which is you need to learn what is your character and what need to be built. Then, the second thing is that your identity. After building your identity, you need to learn who you really are and what you really want. And this is the character work. Honest with yourself. The first one, sit down for 10 minutes. With your pen and paper, no phone. Okay? List everything your current path is costing you. Not just hours, relationship you have neglected, Health, you have deferred. Mental space, you have surrendered to problems that are not yours. Years, you have traded for a little you did not even choose. Write it all down, right? Now look at the list and ask yourself one question. Whose name is on this invoice? Okay? If you did not consciously choose this purchase, you are being overcharged. So if the life you are building with all this effort does not look like a life you're willingly to walk towards, then you are paying premium on someone else's dreams. So I did this exercise 3 years ago, and it took me 10 minutes. So it was the most uncomfortable moment and 10 minutes of my life, because I realized whatever I'm doing, I'm paying. I also chase the approval of people, and in the end I'm chasing someone else's definition of success. I would not spend $1 if I were consciously shopping. So do the audit. It costs 10 minutes. Okay? If you are not doing it, you are keep on in the same cycle. The second thing, you need to pick one thing that compound towards your identity. This is the identity work, building towards who you actually are. I did not quit my job and chase my passion straight away. I still working and kept my salary and redirected my evening. The whole life is different. 20 minutes a day, that was it. 20 minutes on something that built the version of me. Okay? I wanted to build, not just build, but it's become not the version my resume say I was. Effort feels productive everywhere. The feeling of being busy trick your brains in thinking you are making progress. This is a problem with the doom scrolling. But progress is effort in a single direction. Over time, repetition is what compounds. Boring. You must remember, building your character, building your direction, building your life is definitely boring, and also sometimes it's an invisible repetition. Okay? You have better make sure that your compounding is in the direction you chose. Very important. So for me, I just started in 20 minutes every day that do what I love to do, what is my passion about. Not because it was my job, and because I love to help people. So in order to help people, you need to learn to help yourself. And what is the most effective way to help people? So the third thing is, purpose take effort. You do not stumble into a weekend workshop. You build it through practice. So imagine you went to the workshop, it doesn't immediately make you I'm a very good person. But it's also about how you put into practice every day. Like how I edit video. It's the best example. Every day you just keep on do, and you keep on learn, keep on think, and fail. Fail is a very important thing in my life. And this is what Steven Bartlett actually mentioned, is that, in his office, he actually have some kind of trophy that rewarding the team, the department that have the failure the most. Why? In our culture, we don't accept this. Okay, you fail means you're a failure. But I learned this from him, because we know that the more you fail is meaning that the more new things you are trying. And through the fail, that's why I always say, when you have failed, just very simple, failure equal to feedback. Why you fail, how you fail, what you fail. Just take that information and move on, become better. And I know sometimes the feeling is there. Yes, please have your time to grieve about it, to feel sad about it, to talk to people about it. But the most important thing is what you learn from it. Okay? So when you're having all this mindset and you are visibly building towards the right opportunity and also direction, not because you chase them, because you have became undeniable. Okay? One thing, people do not promote a skill set. People promote who you are you reliable? It's very important. Being a reliable person is not just having the right skill set, but it's about having the right mental skill set that I learned so far, because I only have diploma in mass comm. Right, I only have diploma in mass comm. And I, in the sense of doing education, helping people, doing management, all these things are through my mindset. I think there's 4 different stages of mindset, which I think I'll share in the upcoming videos. I'll just share in general 4 different mindset of stages. The first one, when you are newbies, when you're just into a very new environment, you have the skill set sometimes, right? Let's say videography, you have the skill set to make video, but you are in a new company that suddenly people ask you, hey, can you do design instead of videography? And you sort of have imposter syndrome and you quite feared of it. So when it comes to this kind of situation, I'll always say the mindset you should have is that learn. It's a very obvious answer, but how do you learn in a process? Everyone can be different. For me, always ask. We have a problem. We're always afraid to ask because asking a lot of questions shows that we are not competent enough. But actually, it's the other way around. And if you realize when you ask more questions and you think and feel that you are incompetent, actually deep down, the root cause is not that you're incompetent, but it's about you care about how people look towards you. It's very interesting. So this is the psychology part. That's how I help people to understand who, what they are facing and what happened to them. The second thing, when you keep on asking, you might not get or face a situation that you like, because you ask a lot of questions. In our expectation, we feel like, oh, I ask, then immediately I'll get the answer. Sometimes it's not, because when you ask the question, you might make the person feel annoyed. Then the person be like, why are you asking all this kind of stupid question? So sometimes, right? So that's where this mental comes in. It's okay to be stupid. Okay, all the successful people, I'll say not just millionaire and billionaire in terms of definition of success, but anyone that is success in terms of helping out people, right, or the leaders, they are okay to be stupid. They are okay to ask a stupid question. Very important, because we want to learn. And the third thing is that put no expectation in communication. And this I learned in a book I read. It's very interesting. I share this example and we move on. He says that, every time when you're having an argument with your friend, then you think of like, oh, let's meet up. Okay, let's meet up and we have a makan. Okay, we have a chilling session. And your expectation is to reconcile with the person, okay, to build back the relationship and saying sorry and everything. And I very bet that you every time, or me, that we will face one situation before, we have all this expectation that we want to mend back the relationship. In the end, end up more argument. Don't you think so? Actually, why? And this book shares a very, very good psychology of why all these things happening. Is that we already have a subconscious expectation towards the conversation, which is what? If I'm saying sorry, I'm expecting you must say sorry as well. So that's where, when I say sorry, then the opposite person, right, let's say my friends or my bestie, he gives me another kind of reaction. He's like, yeah, you should say it earlier. Or he will step on your story and say even more. So we will subconsciously become angry, become I already say sorry, what you want? So that's where it happens. The expectation. So come back to the communication with people, even with your bosses, with your leader, with your colleagues, right? The expectation is very important. Like I always put, in company, I always ask stupid question. Really, because I need to learn. In order for me to success, to build the people, I need to understand the stupid question, in a sense. So I always put the expectation. My expectation is I can get the answer so that I can build other people. I don't care how other people actually react to me, right? Because sometimes the reactions is, it gives us certain information, But we don't have the right mindset to process the information, we'll become emotional, we'll become negative. That's where I'm building myself towards this. So that's the first learner stages. The second one is that you start to be senior. You start to be senior. You know how to do it or do all these things, right? So how do you make it better? So as a learner, they usually have an SOP for you. Or if they don't have, you create one for yourself. It's easy. But when you become senior, you learn to go do something beyond the SOP. How do you do that? And that is totally up to you. And that's where accountability start to come in. Actually, the second and the third one is the same, almost the same, the senior and also the team lead. And what makes you successful is that you're willing to take the risk. Many people in our culture, we don't take the risk. That's why we are rather to be comfortable to do what we are doing, and we are remaining that way. That's why you feel like your life is repetitive, because you don't do new things, because you don't dare to fail. Am I right? So in order for you to be successful, right, or have a transferable skill to go any company or anywhere that you want to work, and I realize is taking the risk and learn from it. And the fourth, the most important one, after you've gone through all these things, there is no shortcut. Please remember this thing. There is no shortcut to do all these things. It is the experience. That's why I always say, this video is not about theory. It's an experience. You need to go through yourself. You need to go through, 8 p.m. and back, and your partner is beside you, and you are still feeling empty. You're still thinking about it, and you can't sleep. Then, like you will feel stressed over it. Then that's the daily process. It's not something like, boom, I read the book, I actually fly. It's not something like that. So that's come the fourth thing. It's about you learn how to see big picture. You set the direction, you set the goal, you set the core value, you set the culture. That's where it makes you the leader. Okay? So in building all these things is daily process. That's why I always say, this is where the interesting part that I've been doing, that I love to help the young people, the youth, to find their life opportunity. Then after that, college students come and find me. It's just interesting. They just come and approach me like, hey, the way you talk, the way you think, I think it's sort of like helping what I've been facing. And interesting enough, I think around last year, there is a founder that aged like 34 or 35 years old, approached me to ask me to handle his company because he see my core value and culture building skill is there. And importantly is that, it's not, as I mentioned, it's not just about skill set, because he told me before is that I love your life perspective and who you are. And that is my character, that is my identity. So this video is mainly to help us understand that, what is the awareness? What is the problem that we're facing, that we've been having all these so-called negative behavior and symptoms. And I hope this video, it helps you out for understanding, or actually a little bit, understanding at least 1%, 2%. I'm talking about 1%, 2%, not even 50 or 60. Because I believe that's how human life is being built. It's being doing day by day. But what most important is that I always suggest people, I build towards the people, I always tell them, please find a partner. Not only boyfriend, girlfriend, but it's about a partner that can be in a journey with you, or find a mentor that can be in a journey with you to build the life you are looking for. Right? So if you have any questions, any doubts, if you have even you want to like, I wouldn't say the word debate, but oppose to my thinking, please feel free to write in the comment. Right? And I really hope this video to able to help you out for this thing. And if you need people to be in your life, you can just DM me anytime, so we can work it out of what is the problem you are facing. Okay? Remember, if you're able to find the 50%, not to say 50%, but if you're able to find the real problem, the root cause problem, you will actually solve the 50% of the problem already. That is true, based on psychology building. So I hope to see, everyone have a better life. Not just better life, but a healthy life that's not just exists in company, but around your life, your love life, your friendship, your siblings, your parents, can be other things. So see you in next video.